Hey YouTube, this is the Volcanic Deck that I've been waiting to present to the world. This is just a very, very rough build in terms of playability and stuff like that. Like the extra deck's not even halfway complete, but it just got more of a mismatch than anything that works. So we'll get right into it. It's a pretty standard build. It does play Barrier Statue of Infernos, and Fossil Dino, but it's more of a because it's more of a stun than anything else. It does work. We're playing 3 copies, Volcanic Rocket. When this card first came out, a 1900 beater that could search a card and any summon was on any type of summon was really, really, really awesome for its time and for when it came out in Force of the Breaker. Unfortunately, the cards it searched weren't that great. It was 2 continuous spells that didn't really do anything except send a Pyro of a for Blaze Accelerator, it was sending a Pyro of 500 or less to destroy a card. Destroy a monster, and you skipped your battle phase. And that's not really what the deck needed. It needed more control and draw power and stuff like that. And we got that with the Trap when it came out. So, 3 Rocket, it's your main normal summon. It's pretty cool. 2 Royal Firestorm Guards. For the most part, this is just a very... I wish it was a Volcanic so you can ditch this, because sometimes you'll open up one of these in your opening hand and you can't do anything with it right away. This is a card that you do not use turn 1. You use this during turns 2 or 3 when you've actually got your graveyard loaded up. So, but it is good to summon off of stuff. And then 3 Fossil Dino, because we're being anti-meta-ish. You can summon this and your opponent pretty much can't do anything. For spirals, they can't even summon their super agent to kill your back row, and your back row pretty much is your response to it. Unfortunately, this also dies to evenly matched, but there's everything kind of dies to it now, especially with YCS San Diego with its very, very, very high showing. So, 2 Barrier Statue of Infernos. It's basically another Fossil Dino for this deck. Of course, this sucks against like Metaphos, but they're not that prevalent at the moment. Until their Link monster comes out, then they're going to be everywhere again. So, for the rest of the Volcanic stuff, 3 Shell, because every single time you search off of it, you're paying 500, and because you're sending it off with a reload, you're paying 500 to basically upstart to draw a free card, and off the first one, and then the other 2 are basically +1s. Because of the way the card works. And then the last monster is 3 copies of Volcanic Scattershot, because who doesn't want to Raigeki your opponent's board and inflict 1500 burn for no reason? So, that's pretty good. So, for spells, 3 Pot of Duality. This is mainly for consistency. If you do not have your Blaze Accelerator, you're going to dig for a Rocket or the Blaze Accelerator, or if you need to dig for a combo piece, this is the best way to do it. You cannot play Desires in this build, because if you banish any of your scatter shots, you can't do any of its effects. So, 3 Forbidden Chalice. I've basically bumped this up to 3 from other builds that I've been playing, and it's mostly because this card is so good, because it baits out stuff. It turns your Rocket into a 23 beater, so it can run over most things. It can respond to things like Firewall and stuff like that. It even forces certain things to happen, especially in ABC against the Buster. It forces them to tag out if they want to keep it. Especially if they know what you're playing, then they're going to tag out anyway because they don't want to get Raigeki'd and lose their board. So they can remake the Buster later. Or then playing 3 Twin Twister for back removal. You draw so much, you can basically get your advantage. Plus, you can discard dead copies of Shell, dead copies of Reload that you have, because put them in the graveyard, they can make them live. 1 Wildfire. Now, for those of you who don't know what this card does, you pay 500 to destroy a face-up Blaze Accelerator card, and then you control and it destroys all monsters on the field. So it's a dark hole that you pay 500 for, and it's a quick play, keep in mind. And then it summons a 1000 token However, you cannot attack during the turn you activate it. So, or conduct your battle phase. Which is cool because it's basically a quick play dark hole, which is pretty good. One book just to flip certain things face down, and then the one dark hole because I'm a scrub and don't play Regeki. For traps, it's not gigantic like some builds, but it is there. 3 copies of Blaze Accelerator Reload. The card has 3 effects, 2 of which are pretty much the same thing. The only difference is how it's activated, and the first one is it's treated as a Tri-Blaze Accelerator, which can only be used with Volcanic Doomfire, which we don't play in this deck. It's a neat card that can push this card into the graveyard if you need it, but you don't really need to. The first effect is you can send a Volcanic card from your hand to the graveyard to draw 1 card. That is an effect, not a cost. So, it's pretty cool. The second effect is a little bit similar, except you can banish, when this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it to send a Volcanic card from your deck to the graveyard, which is crucial when you have when they've destroyed it, because the moment they see this card, they're like, oh, I can't summon anything, because then they'll just banish. They'll force you to bait it. But if you have like multiple copies, you're kind of fine. So. Then we play 3 copies of Reckless Greed. Because of the way Volcanic Shell and Blaze Accelerator Reload work, effectively you do not ever need your draw phase. So what this card will do is it will allow you to dig through the deck much faster, while at the same time giving you tons of more cards for responding to certain things. So, and that's pretty cool. For the other spells, we're playing 3 copies of Phantom Knight's Sword and the 1 copy of Wing. This is purely designed to keep your Fossil Dyna, your barrier statues on the field at any given time, to keep them on the field, because that's the whole point of the deck, is to draw into your barrier statues while using Rocket to control with Blaze Accelerator Reload and Scattershot, which is cool. The concept of this deck is pretty simple. Protect the statues and the Fossil Dyna by any means necessary. This is a permanent 500. This is a 800 while it's on the field. So, and it prevents them from being destroyed once, which is cool. And then the last trap is 2 copies of Jar of Avarice, because recycling our resources is pretty cool. Especially since this can put back your spells and traps. So you can put back things like dualities, Forbidden Chalice if you need to, or any of your traps. So, for the extra deck, 1 Crooked Cook, 58 of 59. It's pretty cool. When you have no other cards on the field, it's unaffected by card effects. And if it destroys any monsters when you detach, which can be activated during either player's turn, you blow up your board, except this card. It gains 300 attack. So even if they would destroy this like through a card effect or something, you can detach to blow up your board, especially if you have a Blaze Accelerator Reload on your field that's basically dead at the moment. Because sometimes you will just set the reload to get them to get rid of it, especially if you have multiple copies, so you can have one in the graveyard, which is kind of a win condition than anything else. So, 1 Diamond Dyer, just control. Infernal Flame Vixen, this is pretty good. This requires 2 Pyros. You detach, it goes up by 500 until your opponent's end phase. When it dies with 2,500 more attack, it can target 3 monsters in any graveyard and banish them, which is cool. 1 Pearl, 1 Mech Beast Erebos, Crazy Box, Djinn, Silent Honor good for against Link monsters, Black Ship, Dark Rebellion, Terran Gorgon. This is cool because it can redirect targeting effects to your other cards, so they can hit those instead of your reloads. Go Goliath. This is really cool. This can get you back to Fossil Dyna, or if you're playing the Earth Barrier statue, Marigeist, and then Utopia, and this is what's supposed to be Utopia the Lightning. So, I hope you all enjoyed the deck. It's, the deck's basically lost its abilities just because the speed of the game, but that doesn't mean you don't have to play it. It's a cool concept. It's something to test. I like testing out various decks and just different strategies and even archetypes that would be completely irrelevant, and this gives them an opportunity to shine for once. So, thank you for watching, and I hope please leave a comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think of the deck, and I'll get back to you guys next time.